It's that time of year again. December is low-key the most fun month of videos for me because every single video pretty much ends up being either most anticipated for the coming year or rankings of my favorite things for the current year. I just love revisiting all of like the books and movies that I loved throughout the year, and then of course I love New Year's, new beginnings, all new things. I love talking about the cool new stories we're gonna get to see in the coming year. I just love it all in general. I love this time of year for this reason. And let me tell you, 2025 is about to be an incredible year for horror bookworms. I'm calling it now. Like, I had to cut myself off listing books that I was excited for because I could have just kept going for like 25, 30, 35 more books. And that's mostly just the first half of this year. Like there's gonna be more books that come out towards the end of 2025 that we don't even know about yet. So I'm about to help build your 2025 TBR for you with some books that I am super duper excited about, and I feel like you guys should be too. So going in release date order, of course, here are some horror books that you need to add to your 2025 TBR. First up is Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay McLeod Chapman, which comes out on January 7th. Chapman's latest is definitely going to hit a little too close to home, but I feel like that's when the genre is at its best. We are following the character Noah, who literally has to fight off his family that have been radicalized by a demonic force that has been seeping through the television via right-wing cable news networks. Yeah, so definitely topical right now. I really enjoyed Ghost Eaters by Chapman, and I'm excited for the horror genre to start pumping out some more material that is kind of relevant to the past couple of years, at least here in the States, and this feels like a really good start. Also, side note, sorry if you hear any strange noises in the background because Miss Daisy, you're not even pausing because I said your name, decided she wanted to be in the room during this filming and is yawning, groaning, licking her paws. Also coming out on January 7th is Voice Like Hyacinth by Mallory Pearson, who I did not realize until recently runs one of my favorite Instagram accounts, Lesbrary Card. I had been following that account for a while and was so excited last year when she announced she was going to be debuting books. I think that's so cool. Her new book that I just mentioned though sounds a lot like The Craft meets Picture of Dorian Gray, kind of. Basically, we're following 5 art students who start using dark magic to unlock their creativity and curse their super creepy professor. But they soon realize that dabbling in the occult can often have a heavy price. It's giving witchy dark academia, and it sounds like the perfect way to start off the new year in reading. So here comes my first Creepy Book Club 2025 plug. Listen to Your Sister by Nina Veal comes out on February 4th. The book follows 3 siblings who, after the actions of one of them at a protest, have to go into hiding, and they end up at this super duper creepy slasher movie worthy cabin in the woods. It's being touted as both terrifying and laugh out loud funny, and I love a horror comedy, especially in books. I feel like that's not celebrated as much. I even tried to make a little table of like funny horror books at work, and it didn't do the best, but I'm like, come on, horror comedies. And this is the debut book for this author, which is super duper exciting as well. I was excited to see we got the ARC at work, which is how I got my hands on this. I feel like that always bodes well for the horror genre when we start getting ARCs and things at work. And while this comes out in February, I want to make sure everybody has time to get the book and read the books. I know a lot of people use like the library as well. So this is gonna be our March read for 2025. Next up is Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. This one comes out on February 18th, and it is a retelling of Carmilla. And I'll be honest, that's all the inspo I needed to add this to my TBR. I didn't need to read any further, but I will explain more for you just in case you guys need more. So the story takes place during the height of the Industrial Revolution, and we're following Lenore, whose marriage to steel magnate Henry has gone sour. When they travel to the remote British moorlands for a hunting party, a carriage accident introduces them to the mysterious and of course gorgeous Carmilla. I'm glad we've gone from like just sparse every now and then Carmilla retellings to just a whole bunch of them, or what feels like just a whole bunch of them now. Like, let's fucking go. Next up is a new book from Tender is the Flesh author Agustina Basterrica. The Unworthy hits the shelves on March 4th and follows one woman's path to enlightenment while living in a secretive, violent religious order during the climate apocalypse. And if I hadn't read Tender is the Flesh before, I might be worried about that little summary and how an author might handle that. But having read Tender is the Flesh, I know that Basterrica is gonna knock it out of the fucking park, and I can't wait. And I'm so happy that the immense popularity of Tender is the Flesh has given Agustina Basterrica her flowers. Like, not only did we get signed exclusive editions of Tender is the Flesh this year at work for our Black Friday deal, but this new book has already got a BN exclusive edition coming out with an exclusive cover and sprayed edges, and like, when I say I cannot fucking wait, again, that just like bodes so well for the horror genre when horror books, new horror releases start getting exclusive editions right out the gate like this. So keep buying horror books at physical bookstores, you guys. Okay, last 2025 Creepy Book Club plug. March 18th brings the latest from two Indigenous horror powerhouses. The first being Stephen Graham Jones with The Buffalo Hunter, which sounds like it's supposed to be like a mockumentary, found footage, whatever the fuck the book equivalent of that is. And it details the life of a vampire who hunted the fields of the Blackfeet Reservation looking for justice. This is also getting the BN exclusive treatment, and the exclusive edition is going to include some additional content in the form of selected letters from an actual incident that happened in the Blackfeet Nation in 1870, which inspired this book. And in the introduction to this exclusive material, Jones writes, quote, "I knew I wanted to have an Indian who couldn't die coming for the people who shot us in our lodges." And I feel like that should just be like the tagline of the book. Like, that sounds incredible. I can't wait to read it. And as this one comes out a little bit later in March, this is going to be our April pick for Creepy Book Club. And the second Indigenous horror book coming out on March 18th is The Haunting of Room 904 by Erica T. Worth. While this is not a Creepy Book Club pick for this year, we previously read Erica T. Worth's debut horror novel, White Horse, back in 2023. And honestly, it was awesome. Her new book follows Olivia, who only starts seeing the dead after her sister's mysterious death. Her sister, who previously had this gift, now passed on to Olivia. Olivia starts using the gift and soon becomes one of the most in-demand paranormal investigators out there, which leads her to investigate the Brown Palace, where every couple of years a girl mysteriously is murdered in room 904. The ghostly imagery in White Horse was particularly terrifying, so I'm really excited to read a book from this author where it's just like straight up paranormal all over the place. I'm excited. I'm stoked. Another Creepy Book Club darling, Joanna Van Veen. You might remember we read her debut novel, My Darling Dreadful Thing, just this past year, a couple months ago. Well, she is out with a new book, Blood on Her Tongue. It comes out on March 25th, but I'm gonna give you a second right now to just appreciate the cover and how gorgeous it is. Yeah, it's stunning. So Van Veen's new book follows Lucy, who has to unravel the mystery around her twin sister's sudden change in behavior and appetite before she is sent away to an asylum. This looks like it's gonna be another like gorgeous, scrumptious, gothic novel from this author. I can't wait to read it. Then on April 8th, we have a new space horror from S.A. Barnes, Cold Eternity. The book follows Haley, who's on the run after an interplanetary political scandal, and she seeks refuge on a space barge where Earth's wealthiest, most privileged were put into cryo sleep more than a century ago. But soon the isolation and the glitchy AI hosts aboard the barge start to get to Haley, and she realizes she may have gotten herself into something way more dangerous than any political scandal. Dead Silence, that's also by S.A. Barnes, is another space horror that I found to be terrifying. I love that book. The audiobook is particularly good for that one. But I love this like deep space horror moment that we're having. It's done so well and in a really accessible way. Like, it's not as daunting as some other sci-fi books where it feels like it takes so long to just explain the mechanics of how things work. Like, this is like a really nice, I think, intro to sci-fi. Next up, we have The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling, coming out on May 20th. If I had to rank all of these purely based on my excitement for them, this one would be near the top. The book promises a bacchanalia of madness and ecstasy, following 3 women who are living in a besieged medieval castle when strange and godlike visitors come to call. Like, when is the last time we got a medieval horror? Exactly. I am so stoked for this one. It seems like a kind of like tangled, messy, hedonistic, maybe queer story that I'm just like, I'm gonna be picking up as soon as legally possible. Another previously read author of the Creepy Book Club, Chuck Tingle, is back with a new book on August 12th called Lucky Day. And for this one, I'm just gonna read the summary verbatim because honestly, it's incredible and I don't think I could explain it any better than this. After a global disaster prompts thousands of comically unlikely deaths, a bisexual professor who has convinced herself she might not exist, and an ethically dubious government agent must travel to Las Vegas to unravel the connection between deadly bouts of absurdity and a supernaturally lucky casino. I trust no one has any questions to that, and you've simply just added that to your TBR after hearing it, as I have. I'm loving the takeover of the Tingleverse in trad publishing. I honestly think it's about time. It's long overdue, really. I feel like that summary tells me everything and nothing at the same time, and I can't wait to read this. If nothing else, just to figure out what the fuck is going on. Then on August 19th, Isabel Cañas has a new book out, The Possession of Albadias, which promises to be another great entry in Cañas's work so far, which seems to always be Mexican historical horror fiction. And I love that. I love that for her. The story follows Alba, of course, who flees from her home to escape a plague, but soon she starts having strange hallucinations, violent convulsions, and the feeling that something else is living under her skin. Alba, with the help of her betrothed cousin Elias, become entangled in the church, the occult, secrets, all of the things. We read The Hacienda from Isabel Cañas for Creepy Book Club a while back, and in that book in particular, I really enjoyed the relationship between the occult and the Catholic Church, and this new book seems like it's also going to have those themes, and I can't wait because I feel like I've never read anything with the occult and Catholicism together quite like that and handled in the way that it is. So I'm really excited for this one. And finally, for now anyway, all the way in October, we have a new release from one of my favorite contemporary horror authors out there, Katrina Ward. And it is called Nowhere Burning. It's not an official Creepy Book Club pick yet because, you know, we haven't decided the last half of 2025, but just you wait. I'm more than likely going to try to make everybody read this. The book follows 2 siblings who run away from home to the abandoned ruins of a famous movie star's ranch. But they find out the ranch is now home to a group of feral children, and the place that they are seeking refuge might be worse than the place they ran from. Katrina Ward is an Instabuy author for me now after The Last House on Needless Street, which is like my Bible, and I will try and force down anyone's throat who will let me. So no matter what, I'm reading this. But like I said, I will try and make it a Creepy Book Club pick, just you wait. So I will not apologize for the new additions to your 2025 TBR. I'll just expect that you thank me later. And don't be shy, let us know what horror books you are most excited for in the new year in the comments. And then everyone save this video, come back to it when you need some reading inspo throughout the new year. And I myself will be lurking in the comments frequently to add to my own TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, this month is mostly going to be most anticipated for 2025 and rankings of 2024. So stay tuned for all of that. We'll go over all of the things, the books, the movies, the games. But I will see you soon with a new most anticipated video. Until then, stay strange. Bye.